I've spent a lot of time researching Cambodia. If you look at, so there are 8 different pyramids in the immediate Angkor Wat area. And these pyramids are massive. And when you walk up to them, you can see how incredibly ancient they are. And the dating on these pyramids are, 900 AD to 1300 AD. So not very old, the official dating. But when you stare at the stones, you can see the same thing you see in Egypt. You see just ancient weathering patterns down the sides of them. You can see how the whole site has been rebuilt. And they don't talk about it, right? So the entire history of Cambodia, nobody is open at all to exploring that it might be older than 800 AD.
Let's look at some photos of Angkor Wat, because it's another incredibly bizarre place. And when people use the conventional timeline to date it, it's amazing and it's beautiful, but it's not as crazy. When you really, if you take into consideration that no one really knows when it was built, and the possibility that it's actually 11,000 years old, 12,000 years old, maybe even older, it almost kind of makes sense.
Have you done?
Because it would look just like that.
Yeah, and the temples or the towers inside the core of Angkor Wat, in my personal opinion, the core of Angkor Wat, it's got 3 different layers. The core, I think, is extremely old. It's got these 5 central towers. They look almost melted. So you can see the 5 in the middle. As you move out by each layer, all of the iconography in Angkor Wat changes. So in the center, it's all deities, it's religious symbolism. As you move out, it becomes war scenes and elephants and battles, right? So you can see where each successive culture has built onto the outside of Angkor Wat. But the core of it looks enormously old.
And let's get some photos of the core of it.
Have you ever discussed the Lidar findings around Angkor Wat?
I have not.
Jamie, I have some photos in my Cambodia folder.
I'm trying to dance the line of looking at these before I switch over to your stuff.
God, look how beautiful that is. Look how the trees' roots are grown all around it.
Cambodia is one of the most special places on this earth.
Whew. Imagine what that was like during its prime.
Oh. That's the Bayon Temple, the temple with 218 faces.
Wow.
Enormous faces.
So
are those, is that like, those are clearly different stones brought in?
Yeah, they're individual stones.
To compare to the other stuff we've seen where it's not that.
Correct.
Yeah, very different.
Yep.
Very different kind of construction.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you the LiDAR.
Spectacular, but maybe makes more sense than like Kailasa.
In 2012, that's a great photo, Jamie. In 2012, they did a LiDAR survey in Cambodia. And what they discovered in Cambodia completely shocked the world. So you can see Angkor Wat in this photo is right in the middle of that giant moat. There were huge mound fields all around Angkor Wat inside this moat and outside of Angkor Wat. And then if you go south of it, you can see these giant spiral embankments. If you just zoom out a tiny bit, Jamie, do you see those spirals in the bottom left side of the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Those are, from one side to the other, they're a mile long. Yeah, so these are the geometric features at Angkor Wat.
And these are hidden from the naked eye?
Yes, they're under the jungle canopy. Nobody knew that these were there until 2012 when the LiDAR results came out.
Holy shit.
There are mound fields that are a mile. This particular mound field is a mile long. It's a 10 by 10 mound field, and these mounds are enormous. They're like 30 feet across. And there's no explanation at all for what these are.
And they didn't even know they existed.
They didn't even know they existed. So this is Angkor Wat from the air. Very, very interesting. That western Baray where you see, that's a man-made, it's the largest hand-cut reservoir on Earth. It's 8 kilometers long and 2 kilometers wide. So you can see the old Siem Reap International Airport just south of it. That's the size of this thing. It is enormous. The official archaeological story of these Barays is that they were hand dug and that they were used to water rice. There's one on the left side. That's the Western Bray. There's an equally large one on the east side. So there are two of them that are 8 kilometers long on each side, 2 kilometers wide. Just an enormous volume of dirt would have had to have been removed to create these. And there's no discussion at all about what they were for, how they were made. They're just attributed to different kings based on inscriptions found in the corners of these sites. So if you want to talk about mysteries, in my humble opinion, Cambodia is one of the most mysterious places on Earth.
How old do they think this reservoir is?
Like 900 AD, so not old at all. And there's no explanation for how it was done. Just to excavate the Western Barays is the equivalent of 53 Giza-sized pyramids of dirt moved out of it. So this is it today. You can see there's a temple in the middle of it.
That's so big. That's so crazy that they supposedly dug that out by hand.
You can see this from space. NASA's taking photos of it before. There's no explanation for what they were doing there.
What is the images of the pyramids up in the corner?
That's the 53.
The amount?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
That's the equivalent. So 138 million cubic meters of dirt to dig that out.
How deep is it?
It's 5 or 10 meters deep. And I believe that they dug out the inside and then they built these large walls, retaining walls on the outside. So I don't think that there's huge piles of dirt somewhere. I think that's, it was just deepened and then they built the walls around them to retain them. But there's a lot of really interesting, complex things going on with these Barays.
This reminds me of I had Perplexity dig up something on the Kalyasa temple.
Yeah.
Let me find it here. It was just going into like, is the ability of what? Do you know how many people they thought made it? I guess I'll ask you that first. Do you know how the conventional method? They said 250 people made it over 5.5 years. So
sure,
the
sounds
problem
good.
with that is it started to
I'd like to hire those dudes.
It started to tell me like that's kind of like okay, but then it started getting, it was like, actually the hardest part with this is going to be removing all of that rock.
Yeah.
Like where, not, they couldn't, not, didn't say like where is it, but it just was going into the math. This is all the Perplexity did. It's all this math on.
This is Kailasa.
Yeah.
The amount of stone that can be removed every day.
And it just, it would have taken, it is even, just the 250 people is a fourth of the potential, the number they tried to destroy it with for 3 years. And it has the same tools, I guess. They just said they had some sort of metal. This says 5.5 years.
They tried to destroy it for 3 years,
That had
and
to
then
have
they
been
just quit.
Really frustrating 3 years.
1,000 guys tried to destroy it for 3 years. You imagine that? That is crazy.
Even if it was 100 and it's just exaggerated,
Right.
They couldn't do anything.
That's really crazy.
Chipped off some noses.
You know how mad that king was? He's like, just destroy it.
Imagine what a dick he must have been.
Oh, yeah.
To want to destroy that. That's the problem with kings.
It's the problem with kings.
Good Lord, that's wild.
So, yeah, Cambodia is incredibly mysterious, and nobody talks about Cambodia.
Would you like some coffee?
Sure. Thank you.
So how did you get involved in Cambodia? What was the first thing that you looked at?
I went there for the first time 3 years ago. It was a quick stopover. We were getting ready to hike the Sandong Cave in Vietnam, the largest cave in the world.
I saw that on 60 Minutes.
Yeah, so we had that trip planned, and I said, well, Cambodia's right next door. Maybe we should just pop over there for a week. So we did, and, walking on these sites, it's the same thing I was talking about earlier. I like to hire local guides just to hear what's the story that they're telling you, what is the official history. And the story that they told me it doesn't match what you see with your own eyes, right? So they say that the earliest civilizations there built in brick, and then they built with stone. Over time, they developed the ability to build with stone. But all of the brick is on top of the stone. It's on top of these massive pyramids, right? So it doesn't make sense that the oldest stuff is at the top. So I started sort of questioning the history of Cambodia. I got into these Lidar results, which are really fascinating. I mean, they discovered entire unknown cities in Cambodia with Lidar. So on top of the Kulin Mountains, which is the plateau where they quarry all of the stone for Angkor Wat, all the sandstone, there was an entire massive city on top of that plateau that they had no idea was there. There were pyramids, there were 2,000-acre reservoirs, there were mound fields, there were, massive causeways, and it was all just hidden under the trees, the jungle.